Guys, I just want to preface this video by saying that this is just kind of like a brain dump. This is not organized. I did not organize my speaking topics. I know that I went off on a bunch of different tangents, so if you want me to go over any of those tangents more in depth, please leave a comment below explaining what you want me to cover. And yeah, I'm sorry that this video is all over the place, but that's kind of how my head is right now. And thank you guys again so much for watching. Here's the video. Hey, what's up you guys? So today's video is mainly for the friends and family that keep asking me how I'm doing and what's going on over here. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a rundown. I'm sure you can tell by the title. So basically, this is just what life has been like for the last week-ish, maybe a little less. Okay, so basically life goes on as normal. Now, a lot of people are wondering, like, what do you do when there's an attack? What do you do when they shoot rockets? Which does happen. There are a lot of places that have safe houses, and we even have a bomb shelter in Jaffa, right over here at the local park, and it's very underground. So like even a nuclear weapon couldn't penetrate that. So it's very safe, but we don't go there because we only have a minute and a half to get to a safe place. And a lot of houses have what we call mamads, and they're basically a safe room with very, very thick reinforced steel, and they can, survive an attack. They can survive a rocket. So most people have those, and the people that don't, they either go into the stairwells or their own bomb shelters in apartment buildings. Me specifically, I live in kind of like a house in a way. It's a house, but it's not because it's still an apartment. So basically what it is my landlord took his big house and he broke it up into 3 apartments when he got divorced. So he has 3 different apartments, mine being one of them, his being another, and then another person lives in the third. Now, the person that lives in the third apartment, they have a little bit more shelter than we do because they don't have as much glass around them, and they also have a set of stairs in their house. We don't have any stairs, and we do have a bathroom that is a full glass door. So, and it's covered in glass as well instead of like a sheet or something. So, a sheet? Is it a sheet? Never mind. So, we don't have any safe space to go, so we go to our neighbor's house. He also doesn't have a safe room, but he has a second floor, and he has a fridge that he just kind of put a bed behind the fridge. I'll show you guys a little clip. I'll put it in here. Bo, bo, bo. Bo. Come on, outside. Temple? Okay. Good. But this was just today. The clip is from today whenever the sirens started to go off. I was actually doing dishes and I had no pants on, as one does dishes with no pants on. But I had to hurry up and put my pants on and then get Diego's leash on and then go to my neighbor's apartment. His door is locked, so I just have a key for easy access. And I went in there, checked to see that they were there, went behind the fridge, and stayed there until we heard some pretty loud booms. So, is it scary? I think that that's what a lot of people are asking me. Are you scared? Aren't you terrified? Why don't you just come home? And not everyone here has that luxury because this is most people's first home. I do have the luxury of having another home. I am from the United States. I'm from Pennsylvania, and my family still lives there, and I'm here by myself. So when I moved here almost 7 years ago, it was at the very tail end of a war in 2014, and it was pretty bad. It was a pretty bad war. You know, this is when Hamas realized that in order to compromise the Iron Dome, you need to send a lot of rockets at one time, because the Iron Dome is what keeps us safe. It's what keeps the rockets from landing and exploding on people and exploding on houses. So the Iron Dome intercepts the rocket. So the rocket is here, the Iron Dome intercepts it, it crushes it, and the pieces fall to the ground, and it's not deadly anymore. So the Iron Dome is definitely what protects us, and Hamas wants to kill as many people as possible. So what they do is they're now sending like hundreds of missiles at once, and unfortunately the Iron Dome can't intercept all of them. So a few of them did hit, and about 2 miles from me, there was a bus that was hit. It was right after the people evacuated. Thank goodness no one was killed then. There's a few clips. I don't know if I can insert them from, but it's been crazy. I mean, I truly don't feel anything different on a day-to-day basis. I am a little bit more concerned when I'm taking Diego out on a walk, because I just thought about taking him on a walk. It was like 2:15 when the siren came off, when the siren went off for the warning for the bomb shelter. You need to get to the bomb shelter within 90 seconds in Tel Aviv. And basically, you know, if we were outside, we wouldn't have a place to go if we weren't near that, you know, park that has shelter. So that's a little bit scary, like knowing that we can be outside whenever the sirens go off in more than 90 seconds from our home. But again, our home doesn't have a safe room, so it's not that protected, if you will. But the chances of getting hit are much slimmer than people think or people know, because the Iron Dome does such a good job at intercepting the rockets. You know, we don't get that many that actually land and make impact, but they do. There are some that do, and there are people that are killed. And, you know, there is a whole mess of reasons why people believe this is going on, and I have my own theories. Ultimately, no one will ever really know. I mean, you're not the Hamas and you're not the government of Israel, so you can't really know why they're doing what they're doing. But it's pretty easy to make some educated guesses based on the facts that you do know. So, with all that being said, I am safe, I am doing well, and ultimately life is still going on. My boyfriend's at work right now. In the middle of work, he had some sirens going off, so they went to the bomb shelter, and then they went back to work as normal. So life is definitely still going on, and Israelis are some of the funniest when it comes to conflict and times of trauma, because they always seem to have such a great sense of humor. If you were to make the jokes if an American were to hear the jokes that Israelis make during these times of crisis, I mean, they would be appalled. But ultimately, you have to stay lighthearted, and you have to realize that this isn't a personal thing. This isn't a personal attack between Palestinians and Israelis. You know, I have so many Palestinian and so many Muslim and so many Arab friends, and I know that they don't want this war. I know that they don't want to see people killed on either side. I know that. I know for a fact that is true. But I also know that the extremists get all the airtime. So with that being said, I'm sure you can understand where I'm going with this. It doesn't really matter about what we want, the average person. it's really the extremists. Even on the Jewish side, Jewish, Palestinian, it doesn't matter. There is so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Manipulation within the media, manipulation within, the government, and manipulation within Hamas. And it's so sad to see people fighting for something that they don't even know what they're fighting for at this point on both sides. So recently there was, yesterday, there was some crazy right-wing Jewish people who took an Arab old man and beat him, and it was super bad. And there were Palestinian people in Jerusalem throwing rocks at a Jewish person driving, and when they crashed their car, they tried to lynch him. The police stopped them. There was a Palestinian woman who was trying to stab a Jewish person with a knife, and when the guy stopped her, the police came and took her away. There are so many crazy things, like so many. And there's a lot of videos going around. There are some super wacky extremists on both sides, and there is a very wild extremist Jewish person who is Jewish group, very religious group that is very pro-Palestine and kind of just feeds fuel to the fire. And it just, these extremists are just putting gas on a fire that doesn't need any more gas. It has more than enough gas, and it's going to burn for a very long time, as it's been burning for a very long time. It's just when somebody squeezes gas on the fire, it flares up, and it's the same thing as what's happening now. So there are extremists squeezing gas on the fire right now, and it is flaring up like crazy. And I personally, no matter what, I want peace for everyone. I know that I sound naive saying this, but I don't want anyone to be killed. I don't want anyone to be in a position where they fear for their lives, or where they don't know when the next siren is coming, or where they don't have sirens like in Gaza. They don't have sirens. And, as much as we will tell them before we're going to bomb a certain location, they don't have a lot of options. And when I say that, I mean that they are put in a position where running is not really an option. And even if it is an option, it puts them in a bad position, because if they run, it makes them look not the best to the people that told them that they're not allowed to run. So, with all that being said, I'm sure that this video will probably be demonetized just because of the sensitive topics that I'm talking about. But again, I just want to make sure that everyone is safe and everyone is happy and everyone is living a life that they desire, because ultimately we do not need to have this war continuing. It's been way too long. Israel does not need to be occupying the lands that they've promised to Palestine, and Israel also doesn't need to fear for the security of their people. We need to be able to trust each other. We need to be able to come together. We need to be able to sit at the table together and have these really deep and tough discussions, because at the end of the day, this is generational trauma that is spilling over year after year, and it is super dangerous. So I know that I don't want my kids to live like that, and I'm sure that most of my friends, all of my friends, don't want their kids to live like that. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to have a peaceful discussion in the comments, I'm so happy to do so. For me, I have a background in conflict resolution with a focus in international conflict, and I focused very, very strongly on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And that is the reason that I live here right now, because I did my internship for my master's program in conflict resolution at the University of Denver. And I'm sorry, I did my master's there. I did my internship here in Israel. And I was working with a nonprofit organization called Windows. They bring Palestinians and Israeli children together to write to write a newspaper and to express themselves on different sides, to kind of see the other for who they are, which is just people. And I would love to have these conversations in this comment section. I really hope that no one uses this to spew hate, but if you do, if you have hate in your heart, I'm sorry. I hope you can work through it. And again, I hope that you have an incredible day. Wishing everyone peace, love, and a good night's sleep. And I really hope that this violence ends soon.